While modern homes fill with disposable technology, Amish households contain objects carrying sacred meaning across generations. These aren't religious artifacts behind glass. They're simple, everyday items connecting families to faith and centuries of tradition, transforming ordinary homes into spiritual sanctuaries where every object serves a higher purpose. The kitchen table. Walk into an Amish home and you'll notice the kitchen table immediately. Not because it's decorative, but because it dominates the room with solid presence that speaks of permanence and purpose. This table was handcrafted by the woman's father or grandfather, built from wood harvested on family land. The construction took weeks of careful work, with every joint fitted precisely without nails or screws. The surface bears marks from decades of use. Knife scratches from countless meal preparations, slight depressions where elbows rested during evening prayers, water rings from generations of drinking glasses. Here's what makes this table sacred. 3 meals occur here daily, 365 days yearly, for the entire family's life. Children learn their first prayers at this table. Teenagers confess struggles to patient parents. Husbands and wives discuss important decisions affecting the household. Community elders gather here when serious matters require wisdom. The table never leaves the family. When daughters marry, fathers build new tables for their homes. When sons establish households, grandfathers craft tables that will serve their great-grandchildren. This continuity transforms simple furniture into blessed gathering places where family and faith intersect with every meal. The wedding quilt, hidden in the master bedroom, lies an object that required more human labor than any other item in the house. The wedding quilt, containing between 300 and 800 hours of combined work from 15 to 20 female relatives, represents the physical manifestation of community blessing on a marriage. What outsiders don't understand is that specific patterns carry specific meanings understood within the community. The double wedding ring pattern symbolizes eternal union. The log cabin design represents the home being established. The tree of life celebrates family continuity. These aren't aesthetic choices, they're prayers stitched into fabric. Grandmothers, mothers, aunts, and sisters gather for months before the wedding, each contributing stitches while sharing wisdom about marriage, childbirth, and maintaining a godly household. Every stitch represents a blessing spoken over the couple's future together. This quilt covers the marriage bed for the couple's entire life together. It witnesses every private moment, provides warmth during illness, and comforts during difficult times. The quilt becomes so associated with the marriage that when one spouse dies, the surviving partner often cannot bear to sleep under it alone. Here's the most profound part. When an Amish person passes away, this same wedding quilt often lines their simple wooden casket, literally wrapping them in the blessings that surrounded their marriage. The quilt that blessed their union becomes their final earthly covering, the wooden cradle. In the corner of most Amish bedrooms sits a simple wooden cradle that has rocked 5, 6, sometimes 8 generations of babies to sleep. Built by a great-great-grandfather's hands, this cradle contains no decorations, no painted designs, nothing that draws attention to its appearance. The construction follows principles that ensure safety and longevity. Smooth wood that won't splinter, delicate skin, a gentle rocking motion that soothes without startling. Dimensions that accommodate newborns through 6-month-old infants before they transition to regular beds. Before the first baby ever slept in it, the bishop blessed this cradle with prayers for the children who would rest here. That blessing extends forward through every generation, covering great-great-grandchildren not yet conceived when the wood was first shaped. Between births, families store the cradle carefully in dry locations where wood won't warp or crack. When pregnancy announcements occur, grandmothers retrieve the cradle, clean it gently, and place it beside the parent's bed in preparation for new life. The cradle represents more than furniture. It symbolizes the continuation of faith through children who will receive the same teachings, embrace the same values, and eventually rock their own children in this blessed vessel that has served the family for over a century. The kitchen stove. The heart of every Amish home beats in the kitchen, where a massive coal or wood-burning stove provides warmth and sustenance without requiring a single watt of electricity. These aren't antique decorations. They're working appliances that serve families for 50 years or more. What makes the kitchen stove blessed isn't its durability, though that's impressive. It's the role this stove plays in teaching daughters their sacred domestic responsibilities. Mothers stand beside daughters at this stove, demonstrating how to maintain consistent temperatures for bread baking, how to prepare meals for large families efficiently, and how to manage the physical demands of cooking without modern conveniences. The stove requires constant attention. Wood must be added at precise intervals. Ash needs removal. The surface temperature must be monitored by hand, since there are no digital controls or temperature displays. This attention teaches patience and presence, keeping cooks focused on the immediate task rather than distracted by other concerns. During winter months, families gather near the stove's warmth for evening activities. Children complete homework at the kitchen table while heat radiates from the stove. Mothers prepare tomorrow's bread dough. Fathers read scripture aloud. The stove becomes the center of family life, literally and figuratively warming the household. Some Amish families use the same stove their great-grandmothers cooked on. The cast iron develops seasoning over decades that cannot be replicated. Foods cooked on these ancient stoves taste different, deeper, richer, connected to generations of meals prepared with the same tools. The oil lamp. As darkness falls across Amish farmland, windows begin glowing with soft yellow light that marks these homes as distinctly separate from the electric world surrounding them. Oil lamps provide this light, maintaining a tradition that stretches back centuries before Edison's invention changed how most people experience nighttime. The oil lamp that sits on the kitchen table serves a specific blessed purpose. Each evening after supper, fathers light this lamp for family devotions. Children learn to associate its warm glow with scripture reading, prayer, and the quiet reflection that ends each day. The lamp symbolizes Christ as the light of the world, making its use during worship a physical reminder of spiritual truth. Maintaining oil lamps requires knowledge passed from mothers to daughters. The wick must be trimmed to precise length for optimal light without excessive smoke. The glass chimney needs daily cleaning to maintain brightness. The oil reservoir requires filling before it runs completely dry. These tasks teach children responsibility and attention to detail, while connecting them to generations of women who performed identical maintenance rituals. The lamp travels through the maternal line. Grandmothers give their oil lamps to granddaughters when the younger women establish their own households. Some lamps have illuminated family devotions for 5 generations, their brass bases polished smooth by countless hands. Unlike electric lights that turn on with thoughtless switches, lighting an oil lamp requires deliberate action. Strike the match, lift the chimney, touch flame to wick, replace the glass, adjust the flame. This intentional process reinforces that light, like faith, requires consistent effort and cannot be taken for granted. The prayer cap. The most personal, blessed object an Amish woman owns, never leaves her head from the moment she's baptized until the day she's buried. The prayer cap, or head covering, represents her submission to God's authority and her acceptance of the role ordained for women in Amish theology. These head coverings are handmade by grandmothers for granddaughters, typically presented during the teenage years as girls prepare for baptism. The construction follows precise community standards. Lancaster County caps differ from those in Holmes County, Ohio, Elkhart County. Indiana communities use slightly different patterns. These variations immediately identify which specific community a woman belongs to, even among the Amish themselves. The cap must be worn continuously, except when sleeping. Women wear them during all waking hours, inside their homes and outside, during work and during worship. This constant presence serves as perpetual reminder of their commitment to live according to biblical principles regarding women's roles. When an Amish woman dies, she's buried wearing her prayer cap. The same covering that marked her submission to God throughout life accompanies her into death. Her daughters and granddaughters attend the funeral wearing identical coverings, creating visual representation of continuity that extends backward to great-grandmothers and forward to great-granddaughters not yet born. The prayer cap represents more than religious obligation. It symbolizes a woman's choice to embrace a countercultural lifestyle that rejects modern feminism in favor of traditional gender roles that Amish theology considers blessed and ordained by God. The wooden hope chest. Between ages 12 and 14, Amish girls receive a wooden hope chest that will determine much of their focus for the next decade. This isn't a gift for storing childhood toys. It's preparation for their sacred future role as wives and mothers in a community where marriage isn't just expected, it's essential for full participation in adult life. The hope chest must be filled with handmade items before marriage becomes possible. 12 quilts minimum, each requiring hundreds of hours of hand stitching. Dozens of dish towels, tablecloths, and kitchen linens. Complete sets of bed sheets and pillowcases. Multiple dresses for different seasons, aprons for daily work, prayer caps in reserve. Mothers, grandmothers, and aunts contribute items to the hope chest, but the girl herself must create the majority. This requirement ensures she develops the domestic skills necessary for managing an Amish household without modern conveniences. By the time the chest fills, she can sew, quilt, embroider, and create everything her future home will need. The hope chest also contains something less tangible, but equally important. As girls stitch late into evenings by oil lamplight, they're learning patience, perseverance, and the satisfaction of creating beauty through repetitive, challenging work. These qualities will serve them throughout lives filled with physically demanding domestic labor. When wedding day arrives, the hope chest's contents furnish the new couple's home completely, representing years of preparation and family investment in the marriage's success. The Ausbund hymnal. Sitting on the shelf in every Amish home is a book that hasn't changed in over 400 years. The Ausbund, printed entirely in German, contains hymns written by Anabaptist martyrs imprisoned for their faith during the 16th century persecution. These aren't typical hymns with musical notation and modern arrangements. The Ausbund contains only words, with melodies passed orally through generations. Songs take 20 minutes or longer to sing, with each syllable stretched into multiple notes that create haunting, otherworldly sounds unlike any other Christian music. The hymns tell stories of faithful believers who chose death over renouncing their convictions. Many were written in dungeons by men awaiting execution. The words describe their suffering, their faith, and their willingness to die, rather than compromise their beliefs. Every church service includes multiple Ausbund hymns, sung without instrumental accompaniment. Children memorize these hymns before they can read, learning the melodies from parents and grandparents who learned them the same way. This oral transmission preserves pronunciation of archaic German words that would otherwise be lost to time. The Ausbund represents the Amish commitment to maintaining practices exactly as their ancestors did. While other churches update their hymnals every few decades, the Amish sing identical songs their great-great-great-great-great-grandparents sang, creating a direct connection across 4 centuries of unbroken tradition. The butter churn. In an age where butter comes in uniform sticks from refrigerated supermarket cases, Amish kitchens still contain wooden butter churns that transform fresh cream into golden butter through nothing but repetitive physical effort and patience. The butter churn teaches lessons that extend far beyond dairy processing. Young girls stand beside grandmothers, learning to maintain the steady rhythm required for cream to separate into butter and buttermilk. The process takes 30 to 45 minutes of continuous churning with no shortcuts available to speed the transformation. This repetitive work builds character traits the Amish value highly. Patience, because the process cannot be rushed. Persistence, because stopping before completion ruins the batch. Physical endurance, because arms grow tired long before the butter forms. Presence, because distraction affects the rhythm and results. Some butter churns have served families for over a century, with wood worn smooth from countless hands gripping the dasher. These tools represent the Amish belief that good things require time, effort, and dedication. Lessons increasingly foreign to the modern world's obsession with convenience and instant gratification.